Hello, welcome back to the Coleman channel and welcome back to yet another epic, sick, lit tube review. Yes, we're back once again reviewing things. And of course, we are reviewing, as I said I would, a little bit late to the party, but we are doing a review of, this title and thing's going to be really long, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Yes, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, you all know what it is. Doesn't really need any big introduction. It is the latest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe films. One of the most anticipated, if not the most anticipated so far films. I believe this is the fourth one, the fourth MCU film of Phase 4 after Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and No Way Home. Well, actually, I would guess next to No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness is probably the most anticipated film of these, of the Phase 4 films so far. Yeah, we're not going to get too much into that. You know what it is the sequel to Doctor Strange, the 2016 film. And it's kind of crazy that this film is finally here. I said this about the Moon Knight review. All these films and shows taking absolutely ages to come out after the pandemic broke out and all that kind of stuff. But it's finally here. It's been out for a little while now. And we're just going to dive in and do a little review of it. Obviously, because it's still quite fresh. Spoiler-free review first, as per usual. And then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of it after that and do the epic to lame scale ratio. You know how this format works by now. I've done a few of them. So you know, being about the bush, I thought Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was fucking lit. Absolutely fantastic in pretty much every sense of the word. However, I preferred it over No Way Home. Still kind of remains to be seen. I think I probably do. I do think I'd probably rate this over No Way Home because, yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home is an absolute fantastic film. The best of the Tom Holland movies so far. And a big, massive celebration of Spider-Man as a character, specifically in the films. 20 years of Spider-Man film history with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, just a massive, massive cameo fest of fantastic villains and characters and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, with a, a pretty good story and all that kind of stuff. But that, in my opinion, while No Way Home was absolutely fan-fucking-tastic, it was pretty much just a big cameo fest. A big celebration of Spider-Man films and all that kind of stuff. The hype factor was the return of Maguire and Garfield and Dafoe and Molina and Jamie Foxx and all that kind of stuff. And obviously, you know, bringing us into Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange also being in that film. But, you know, compared to Multiverse of Madness, which has a lot more going for it in terms of, like, story and the progression of Phase 4, and one of the biggest themes that is emerging of Phase 4, which is the multiverse, it just kicked absolute ass, man. It kicked ass. You know, really, really solid plot, really fantastic direction. Obviously, Sam Raimi, who is one of the best horror directors of all time, with The Evil Dead and stuff like that. And of course, the director of the Spider-Man films and Darkman and all that kind of stuff. He's already done a lot of superhero stuff. And, you know, he was the first guy who brought Spider-Man onto the big screen as well. So, you know, you gotta give him... He's got the superhero cred. And I would not have ever seen him directing an MCU film, let alone a Doctor Strange film. But he really poured his directorial style in. I think it's probably the most different of all of the Marvel films so far, especially in Phase 4, which, if you've watched them all so far, I forgot to mention the Eternals earlier. Well, that shows you how kind of forgettable that film was. But I digress. Out of all these films, they've all had a different direction and a different style, breaking away from the past three phases, which have been kind of quite samey in their way, I suppose, in terms of, you know, their superhero movies. I think I might have mentioned this in Moon Knight already. But they've all been different, apart from maybe Black Widow, which was quite, kind of fairly standard issue superhero film, but with a bit more of a spy, espionage kind of spin, I guess. But they've all been very different, which is great. But I think Doctor Strange 2 has had the most different storytelling, directional style of all of them, pretty much. And it's fantastic. This is great, fantastic stuff going on right here. Everyone was fantastic in it as well. Probably the best depiction of Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch so far. Fantastic exploration in the multiverse, which was like the thing I was most excited about, obviously, as we get to see all these crazy, wacky worlds for the first time since maybe like What If, but now in like live action and all that kind of stuff. And of course, a great, very, very exciting cameo fest, one of which made me pog my fucking jaw off, pretty much. It was insane. And you know, with a really great story to coincide with all this as well, and the pacing was actually pretty insane too. I feel like there's been a lot of criticism over the pacing of the movie, but I quite like it. I almost dived in pretty much straight away. No faffing around or anything like that. I just went right in for the jugular, especially at the beginning, and then you know, a little bit of you know, Doctor Strange with Stephen Strange stuff going on, and then it just dives right in, and after that it's just you know, careening forwards with this crazy story. And of course, much like the first Doctor Strange, which was notable for having like crazy visuals, it's just that again, any Doctor Strange film is bound to have some insane visual art going on, and this one was no exception. And obviously they could do all this with the different universes that they visit and all that kind of stuff. And of course, introduction of a new character into the fray of Marvel heroes, America Chavez, who I wasn't particularly excited about seeing. I don't really follow America Chavez in the comics very much, but very cool origin story and all that kind of stuff. A really good character to go along with Doctor Strange, and I really am looking forward to seeing how this character develops later on down the line, especially because her powers are probably the most insane that we've seen so far. Obviously, because she's going to be one of the Marvels, which is a show that I think it's a show or a movie that's coming out. I think it's a show. It's going to have all of these different Marvel characters. Haha, get it? Marvel's characters coming together, like Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, America Chavez, Miss Marvel and stuff. It's going to be really, really cool, and I think I'm honestly, all of them, between her and Monica Rambeau, are the ones I'm most excited to see develop as a part of this new superhero team. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just fucking loved it. I was very, very excited. Probably the most excited I've been so far, next to No Way Home, to see a new Phase 4 Marvel film, and I was just not disappointed whatsoever. Crazy whacked out cameos, but that was the difference between this film and No Way Home, is that the main focus was not about cameos. I managed to get a good few in there, but there wasn't a lot, and I think they would have went a bit overboard if they threw in more. I feel like it would have derailed from the story a little bit, so they picked the right choice of cameos in it. May have shown a little bit too much from the trailers, like they showed off Patrick Stewart from, you know, obviously from the X-Men films as Professor X and stuff. Probably should not have done that, I think. I think Kevin Feige even said that himself. They showed a little bit too much in the trailers, but there's still plenty of surprises. Didn't take away from that all that much. And obviously we had a lot of crazy, cool, new explorations of other Marvel comic stuff, like the introduction of the Illuminati, which was pretty on point with its members and all that kind of stuff. The reintroduction of Baron Mordo. I actually thought we'd do a lot more in this film, but it was good to see him again regardless. And you know, Scarlet Witch, who was just a fantastic character, which I won't say too much here because this is the spoiler free, but man, really good character. God damn, was that sick. I enjoyed every minute of her being there. And yeah, absolute big ups, kudos to Sam Raimi. He really made this film his own. It feels like a Sam Raimi film through and through, and he just pulls all the stops to make a really great superhero film, and it's good to see him return to that after Spider-Man 3, which is, you know, different opinions are on that film. I personally don't think it's that great, to be honest, with decisions out of his control, but we're not getting into that too much. It's nice to see him back doing superhero films, back doing Marvel films, being brought into the MCU fray, and also having free reign to do his own directional style, while also fitting in with the Marvel Cinematic Universe's grain. I think it's one of the most different Marvel films so far, which is why I love it so much. And it's just a great kick-ass story. It was exploring fantastic elements of this new phase around like the multiverse and all that kind of stuff, and just showing off the possibility of all new characters that I've been wanting to see being brought in to the MCU for a long ass time, including, of course, Patrick Stewart, which obviously leads to further implications like the X-Men and all that kind of stuff. Really, really, really exciting stuff. Now, I suppose we'll just get into the Spoilerific review here. Once again, pretty much everything I said prior is pretty much extant here. We're just going to develop a bit further into what I just stated to you about the fact and why this film is just fucking the bomb. First of all, I would honestly say that even though Doctor Strange is obviously the title character of this film, it's his movie. You know, he's got his first sequel since 2016 after being a bit of a side character for a while. And, you know, the Avengers films and No Way Home, for example, and stuff like that. He's finally got his own film again, which is good because Doctor Strange is probably one of my favourite MCU characters right now. Pretty much every film that he's been in, he's been fantastic. He's been instrumental in a lot of things. You know, like starting off all the crazy, wacky stuff in No Way Home, to being one of the big players in the Avengers films, and Infinity War and Endgame and all that kind of stuff. Specifically Infinity War, obviously, he's one of the guys who got snapped in Endgame. He pulls up near the end. But yeah, he was a big part to play in Infinity War, obviously, because he had one of the Infinity Stones. And while he was absolutely fantastic in this film, Doctor Strange is great in every film that he's in, and being core of this new crazy multiversal insanity that's going on around him, which is one of the best things about him, is he gets to divulge into this very new element of the Marvel films, and he's kind of one of the driving forces behind it, because he was obviously pretty much at the forefront of it. He wasn't even my favourite character of this film, because like I said before, Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, was fucking phenomenal. One, honestly, with this new angle that they're taking with her after the events of WandaVision and stuff, which I actually don't linger on too much. I thought from the trailers she was going to go back somehow with her reality warping powers to Westview, to the WandaVision verse, where she visits younger Wanda with her kids and stuff. Actually turned out not to be that at all, but they really spun it pretty crazily. Like, I think we were led to believe that Wanda was going to be like traveling alongside Doctor Strange for the multiverse for whatever reason it was going to be. It turned out to be quite the opposite. She was actually the antagonist, the main villain of the entire fucking film, which is really, really cool. Speaks to Wanda's origins in the comics, where obviously she started off as a villain. She started off in the MCU as a bit of a villain with Age of Ultron, but they've really solidified her in that role, especially now that she's become the Scarlet Witch, and you know, she's read the Darkhold and all that kind of stuff. She has access to all this horrifying, spooky, Lovecraftian magic and all that kind of thing. She was really, really fantastic in the role. Really scary, man. Like, she got really freaky, especially when she broke into the multiverse, into the Illuminati verse, with her glowing red eyes and stuff, giving chase to the characters and all that kind of thing. Yeah, she was really, honestly, the best character of the whole thing. And of course, as it seems to be the running trend with Marvel villains in the MCU, really great motivation as well. She's not just a big bad going, "Mo ha ha ha, I am an evil woman doing evil things because I'm evil." No, she's actually got reasons for doing this, and that one main reason is, of course, she wants to find a universe where she can find her kids, the two kids that she created in WandaVision, Wiccan and Speed, who also appear in this film, which is a nice surprise. Obviously, I kind of felt like we saw it coming, but it was nice to see them again, especially when she got introduced. When Doctor Strange starts talking about her, you can hear the WandaVision theme starting to play, which is a really nice touch. It was good to see them again, of course. The kids are really good actors and all that shit. She's got really great motivation. She sees herself as not a villain. She's just doing absolutely everything that she can to be reunited with her children again, because after Vision becomes White Vision and leaves in WandaVision, she's kind of left with nothing but those kids which she created, and now she just desperately wants to be reunited with them. And that's the main thing that she's trying to do. She's been chasing, in the opening scene, obviously, we see, I believe he's called Superior Strange. We don't see him for very long, when they're getting chased by evil demons and stuff. That was actually Scarlet Witch. The whole time she found this superhero with the power to access other realities, and she's going to try and get her powers to find a universe which can be reunited with her kids, which is pretty crazy. And a really good twist as well, because she gets introduced very early, and it seems all happy-go-lucky, and then, like that, on a dime, she's the villain. She reveals that she's the one who's been chasing America Chavez. She's going to find her and get her goddamn powers, and there's nothing that Doctor Strange can do to stop her. And yeah, that was absolutely rad. Really great villain, really great reveal. Carries the whole film, I think. Like, all the characters are great, but I think Scarlet Witch really carried the whole thing with her Really great. Basically being unstoppable when she's facing off against the Illuminati and stuff. Unstoppable, unbeatable. Really, really cool. And yeah, just had a really great arc. I love this new direction that they're going with Wanda. Was not one I was expecting at all with WandaVision, obviously because she's kind of, you know, a bit of a villainous role throughout that show because she's like basically keeping all of these people captive. I really thought it might be a redemption arc she's going on, but it was the complete fucking opposite. Obviously near the end of the film she kind of realizes what she's done, and we'll yet to see what happens with her next. I feel like she may be going on a bit of a redemption arc now. I don't know, but I definitely don't think her kind of villainous ways are gone just yet, since she's read the Darkhold, and she's kind of, you know, given her access to dark magics that kind of corrupt you and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, we'll need to wait and see what happens to her, but very fantastic character. And like I said, America Chavez, introduced into this film, really crazy. Obviously, probably other than Wanda right now, probably the most powerful character in the show, in the universe, just because of her ability to fucking travel the multiverse pretty much on a whim. And now she's just, obviously she couldn't really control it now, but she's kind of starting to control it now. I'm very excited to see what goes on with that, because she's kind of the vehicle to these other realities right now. We can assume, other than stuff like the TVA and all that kind of thing, she's the one that's the most immediately available to travel through these realities and stuff. So, you know, I wasn't crazily psyched by her as a character. You know, she did a fine job on her own, traveling with Doctor Strange and stuff. But you know, it's mostly her powers I'm most excited for, and the implications for her later on, especially when she's going to become a member of the Marvels later on. We can assume she's going to become a member of the Marvels. I think that's the point, right? And obviously the Illuminati are here, which is absolutely fucking crazy. We had some fantastic characters I was not expecting to see. Obviously we knew Professor X was coming. Obviously we knew Captain Carter from What If was coming. But they all did a fine job. It was really cool to see Patrick Stewart again, obviously one of the most iconic characters from the X-Men films, next to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. And obviously they decked him out, man. He got the fucking big ass yellow wheelchair. When he got introduced, they played the X-Men animated series theme from the 90s. You know, the one that goes that was fucking fire. Great introduction to this character being brought in again. And you know, while he wasn't in it for very long, like most Illuminati, it was just great to see him on screen again, doing his mind things, you know, going into Wanda's mind, because at that point Wanda took over the body of that universe's Wanda, if that makes any sense, trying to free the Illuminati universe Wanda, and then he just gets fucking murdered. The violence in this film was surprisingly graphic as well. Like, it's a Sam Raimi movie. He's done Evil Dead. He's a horror director. He's no stranger to violence, obviously, but even in it just I was not expecting like the level, to be honest. Like, you know, it's a rated, like, I think it's like 12 or something like that, PG something like that. They couldn't go absolute massacre, as I was not expecting at all. But when I heard that the film was meant to be quite graphic, I was quite shocked at the level, to be honest. Like, specifically with another character that got introduced, Black fucking Bolt, the leader, the king of the Inhumans. If you're not familiar with the Inhumans, they've actually been introduced in the MCU before, in a show around the same time as the Netflix Marvel shows like Daredevil, Punisher, and all that kind of stuff. And the show was pretty much god awful, and it did not last for very long. But the Inhumans are like a sect of humanity. In the comics, are like a sect of humanity that were created by another alien race, and they all have like powers and all that kind of stuff. And they're like a kingdom essentially, and Black Bolt is their king. Has the power of just blowing up everything with his voice, which is why he never speaks and he does sign language and stuff. Really, really cool to see him. He was a member of the Illuminati in the comics, so it was a very big surprise to see Black Bolt here. Outfit swap. But yeah, Black Bolt, that was a really cool a cameo that I was not expecting to see at all. Obviously it makes sense. Black Bolt was a member of the Illuminati in the comics and all that kind of stuff, and this is the Illuminati. But yeah, just not one I would have banked on seeing at all. I was expecting more people like maybe the Submariner, something like that. I don't know, maybe another version of Iron Man. That was a big rumor going around, Tom Cruise pulling up as Iron Man. But pleasant surprise to see Black Bolt. Pleasant surprise to see the return of the Inhumans in the MCU. And that's again one of the beautiful things about this particular film, unlike No Way Home, which also dealt with multiversal madness and stuff like Loki, is that they were fairly condensed with what kind of people we would see. Obviously in Loki it was just different variants of Loki, same with No Way Home, but in Multiverse of Madness we could have a plethora of different versions, iterations of people, and of course as a result we get the return of Patrick Stewart as Professor X, we get Black Bolt, we get a version of Captain Marvel. That was a random one. It turns out that Captain Marvel was actually the Captain Marvel of the Illuminati was already in the film. She's actually the mother of Monica Rambeau, best buddies with Brie Larson in the Captain Marvel movie and all that kind of stuff, so that was pretty cool. And Captain Carter, I was fucking rad. Obviously she was another character that kind of got spoiled in the trailers because also her shield pulls up, but a nice nod to What If, because that's obviously the show that began this idea of different multiverses after Loki. And it was just really nice to see Hayley Atwell live action as Captain Carter, and she fucking knocked it out, bruh. Like, for the little time that she was there, she fucking suited that out. She just suited being Captain Carter, like, an insane amount, you know what I'm saying? I kind of figured she would be pretty good in the role outside of doing the voice and stuff, but no, she was really fucking great. And probably my favourite moment of the whole fucking film, though, Cap. Like, the whole film is phenomenal, like I said again. Like, very solid story, very condensed considering, like, the topic at hand of, like, this idea of going for different universes and stuff. It was actually very condensed. No nonsense, started up really damn quick, and carried on from there. Great cast, all that kind of stuff. The stuff I've just covered there. But man, John Krasinski is Mr. fucking Fantastic. I think I wouldn't be lying if I said one of the most anticipated, if not the most anticipated oncoming thing with the MCU right now is the Fantastic Four movie, which has been announced, TBA on all the details, but it's been announced. Obviously after Disney bought Fox. You know, we've got X-Men now, as is evident with Patrick Stewart and stuff like that, and the Fantastic Four, which is evident with John fucking Krasinski, who I said should have been in the fucking role. I like that they went with bearded Mr. Fantastic. The outfit was fucking rad. I'm not too sold on the performance yet. Like, out of everybody, it was pretty. I mean, like, you know, as Mr. Fantastic, I would say, like, you know, he's the smartest man in the fucking universe. He is out of everybody we've seen so far, he is the smartest of them all. Pretty deadpan so far, but I think, you know, I don't know what else to expect from that kind of thing, really. But it was pretty cool to see, like, a more, you know, set, modernistic Mr. Fantastic, I suppose, when he's got kids and he's got the beard, which is a more recent addition to his character and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the main point is, I think FF is the most anticipated thing for the MCU. Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, Latveria, the Baxter Building, all that fucking shit. Everyone's fucking hype as shit about it. Kang the Conqueror has obviously been set up as like the main Thanos villain of this new phase of the Marvel films, but my fucking god, Doctor Doom, bruh, he is one of the greatest, if not the greatest Marvel villain, in my honest opinion. Like, Doctor Doom is just fucking unbelievably epic. And just the fact that we finally have Mr. Fantastic, the Fantastic Four, here in some aspect is very, very fucking exciting. We know who's going to be playing, well, we can assume this is going to be the guy who's playing Mr. Fantastic in the film. And, you know, it's just exciting that he's here. We got to see him use his powers for a femtosecond. He just stretched for a little minute, much like Black Bolt when he, you know, did his little shockwave, whispered sorry and fucking murdered that universe is Strange. Also got to see Corpse Thanos for a minute, which is pretty rad. But just very, very, very exciting developments, unexpected developments. Mr. Fantastic, like the Submariner, as I mentioned earlier, was one of the guys I really wanted to see as a member of the Illuminati. And he just appeared out, just fucking there, bro. I was pogging, and I was like, that fucking cinema was silent, bro. I was like, is anyone else fucking seeing this shit? I was insane. It was fucking crazy ass reveal. Amazing team to get together for the Illuminati, and obviously insane to see Scarlet Witch just mark everybody, bro, especially Black Bolt. He got done bad, bro. Got his mouth removed, and because he made a sound, it didn't go anywhere, so it just blew his fucking brains out. My god, very graphic, very Sam Raimi indeed. The whole thing, like I said, had a very Sam Raimi feel. and I talk about it with my friends and stuff, it very much felt like he was leaking a lot of Evil Dead vibes in there, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to like the POV shot of Scarlet Witch, and the Illuminati verse, I'm going to call it. It gets very complicated when I'm talking about it because there's a lot of different worlds that she visits and stuff, but she sends her mind to that universe, and she's in that universe's Wanda's house, and she's looking at her through the banisters like this ethereal form from the POV of the camera, which is very Evil Dead indeed. This weird deathly ghoul things that come for Doctor Strange when he possesses the body of this Doctor Strange we see at the beginning of the film who died, and then they bury him in Earth 616, and then he takes over the body, and you know, all the ghouls and their weird sound, the voices they had were very much like Deadites from the Evil Dead. The Darkhold, obviously like the Necronomicon, had a lot of Evil Dead vibes, and obviously Bruce Campbell is in there as well. That's the one thing that, one of my biggest complaints is I really think that Bruce Campbell should have had a bigger role to play in the Sam Raimi film. Obviously they're tight friends, they've been doing shit since Sam Raimi's first ever film, The Evil Dead, where he was a title character, and obviously he was in all the Spider-Man films as well, and I think the first film he was like the wrestling announcer, the second film I can't actually remember, leave a comment below, and the third film he was a fucking French waiter. And the build-up was, I think it was supposed to be Mysterio, was when they were going to like work on Spider-Man 4, obviously that never panned out, but it would have been very nice to see Bruce Campbell become Mysterio in this film, or something like that, because it would have been a full circle moment for all of those films that Sam Raimi worked on before. And Pizza Papa, I'm just kind of like, whatever. Although they made up for it when they had Doctor Strange cast a spell where Bruce Campbell's just beating the shit out of himself with his own fist. Again, a callback to Evil Dead, where it happens to him. So a nice callback there, I like that. But yeah, I don't know if there is any other things I can really say about it that I didn't really like. I think Mordo could have had some more to do. I think kind of Mordo's appearance, obviously in the trailer we all thought it was Baron Mordo from the first Doctor Strange, but apparently obviously not. He was the Illuminati versus version of Mordo, and he kind of did get overshadowed by the Illuminati in a big fucking way. I mean, you've got Baron Mordo, who is a member of the Illuminati, but you know, he's sitting next to fucking Black Bolt, Mr. Fantastic, Patrick fucking Stewart, Captain Carter. You know, he kind of got overshadowed in a big way. It was cool to see him again, much more in his, and it was a great fight scene as well. Actually, the fight scene between him and Strange was great to see that, because Mordo in the comics is like his big bad, his main arch nemesis kind of thing. So it was nice to see that finally happen, because they never did that in the first one. We just kind of fucked off. But yeah, it was a little bit overshadowing there. But you know, I don't know how else it would have fit him in. I suppose it was good to see him, but I don't know how else they would have done it. There was apparently rumors of a cut scene where Scarlet Witch brutalizes, like decapitates Mordo, their universe's Mordo, but never came through. And obviously these cameos are very cameo-y, like they're not in it for very long. The Illuminati are there for, they get a good bit of screen time between them, they get some good dialogue, and there's some good fight scenes with Scarlet Witch who just marks every single one of them. Obviously it's very hard in amongst this whole story to have a lot of good time for the Illuminati, but I think the main vehicle was to like show, is Marvel showing, yeah, we have these IPs, we can bring you all these cool ass characters, we've got the Inhumans going again, X-Men are here, FF are here, just insane shit going on, what if references and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, it's hard to say how I felt about that. I think it was just good to see them, but compared to like No Way Home, where the whole film is centralized around these cameos and they get a lot of screen time as a result, I guess it's a worthy sacrifice, because like I said, Multiverse of Madness is a great plot, and it fucking steamrolls in, you know what I'm saying, they don't pussyfoot around or anything like that, so a worthy sacrifice. They did not feel wasted is my thing. Maybe it could have done with a bit more time, but it was good to see them, and they did not get wasted at all, I don't think. Maybe very cheeky me to say or ask, but it would have been nice to have seen some more universes explored as well. Obviously they had a whole sequence where Strange and America Chavez are flying through a massive amount of different universes, like Paint World and what looks like Spider-Man The War World in 2099. This is all conjecture, but we can assume. But you know, it was good to see that, but it would have been cool for them to like instead of like just blasting through them maybe a couple minutes at a time, where they're like walking through and taking it all in, and then they get blasted away again or something like that. Obviously, the only real other universe we had was the Illuminati verse, which was really cool looking, kind of looked like Earth, but much more utopian, I suppose. I can't really think there was. I don't think there was any other universe that they explored as a result. Obviously, a little pocket world that had the anti-Darkhold in it. I can't remember their name, but and I was like that plot. That was a major plot point for the whole thing, and it kind of just as soon as they got to it, it kind of got destroyed immediately, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, that plot point was a big central thing for a good portion of the film, and then it just kind of got destroyed afterwards, which is kind of like, oh fuck, okay. But it doesn't take away from the film at all. I thought it was just maybe like, I don't know how I would put it. I guess if that was going to be a major plot point for a lot of the film, they could have destroyed it earlier, so they could have made more room for other stuff happening. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. That's kind of, if I'm really looking for stuff to nitpick at, maybe that would be one of them. I don't know. And I don't really know what else to say about it, honestly. It's kind of a cut and dry review here for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. All of the things I just said there, and some of the things I'm trying to nitpick at, because, you know, it was a fantastic film. It's probably one of the, in my opinion, the best film of Phase 4 at this current point in time, and one of the best offerings of the MCU so far, and one of the best sequels that they've done as well. Really making Doctor Strange out to be a big hitter in this new phase. He's, like I said before, well, we did a lot of cool shit in Phase 3. He kind of became very much a side character for a while, especially after Infinity War, because he just wasn't in it because he got snapped. He didn't appear till the end with the massive cameo I thought near the end and all that kind of stuff. So it's nice that Doctor Strange is like becoming a major central point, especially since like the whole sorcerer aspect, like Wong and stuff, has been like in pretty much a majority of like all of the movies and shows, like a little bit of Shang-Chi, No Way Home, of course, and now this. You know, it's been kind of eking through. It's one of the major side things I've been developing for a long time, and this has been like the big culmination, and it's a very satisfying one, and a fantastic director to hand over to as well, who's got major Marvel cred, and it's nice to see him return. Hopefully he comes back to do some more, because my god, this one was a fucking banger, dude. And now I think we should just get right to it and rank Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness on the epic to lame ratio. And as a result, I mean, it's a no contest really. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is going to be mid-tier most epic. It can't go anywhere else. Can't go any higher, I don't think. It is definitely a fantastic Marvel film. One of my favourites so far of this phase, and definitely up there as one of my favourites as well. But it's no Infinity War. Like that one is most epic, like top tier most epic. But it's got to be mid, because the day that we find a film that beats Infinity War is the day that'll get slapped into top tier most epic. But for now, it's in mid tier most epic. Very snugly, firmly planted right in there. Ain't gonna go anywhere else. And that's it for our review of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Very rad, epic, and sick and lit. Marvel just getting more and more crazy by the freaking day. Obviously, next up in the MCU, we've got Miss Marvel, which I'm not particularly excited about, but we will be watching it. I watch all the Marvel stuff anyway, so expect a review of that soon. And our reviews are obviously coming for other films or shows I may or may not watch, because I like watching things and like creative things, hence the themes of this channel. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching this review. If you've enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, bell, do all the things, and check out more reviews on the Coleman channel. Got a plethora of different shows and films I've reviewed already for the Tube review, and other bits of content you may or may not enjoy. And other things, follow the Twitch. We're on a brief hiatus on the channel right now, but you know, it's still there, so please feel free to check it out. You'll be and if you follow the Twitch, you'll be notified when we're streaming again, and then you can tune in, come in live, and then, you know, do other things, enjoy, drop a sub, drop a dono, whatever you fucking want to do if you enjoy the content. Ivan Coleman, Doctor Strange. Yeah.